Kevin Kuzminov has killed the Reds throughout his young career. Kyle Blank's in left field. Will Venable, yes, the son of former Red Max Venable, is in right. A latter third of Luis Rodriguez, Eliezer Alfonso behind the plate, and Josh Geer is on the mound. Homer Bailey makes his 7th start of this year. Coming off the worst outing of his major league career, he allowed 9 runs in a loss to the Dodgers. But of course, prior to that, it had a couple of pretty good outings.
When you watch Homer Bailey pitch, especially in his last outing, he's really starting to pick up the command of all of his breaking pitches, whether that's the slow curveball, whether it's the slider on the outside part of the plate away from righties, or whether it's that new split finger. All of those pitches seem to be working well for him. The one thing that he's gotten away from is challenging the strike zone with his fastball. In the last ball game, guys were sitting on the fastball because he could never throw it for strikes. So then when he did come in the strike zone, they were sitting and waiting. Today, let's hope that he can get that a fastball established early, then use the breaking balls to get the hitters out.
Well, we are set to play baseball. The Reds will play 10 straight days here at home, 4 against San Diego, 3 night games, a day game on Thursday. Over the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon against the Colorado Rockies, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, the Chicago Cubs return the visit from last weekend. Tony Gwynn to lead it off, and he looks at a strike. This game is underway. Tony acquired from Milwaukee back on May the 21st in exchange for outfielder Jody Garrett. He pinch hit that night for the team he grew up watching and rooting for, watching his dad play well over a couple of thousand games for this organization. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, he's not nearly the hitter his daddy was, of course, in the grand scheme of things in the history of the game. That's right. How many were that good or are that good? 1-1 to Tony Gwynn. And a fastball is low, 2 balls and a strike. Gwynn starting to get his legs underneath him a little bit. You see his numbers home and road. Overall a .289 batter. Nothing wrong with that. Has hits in 8 of his last 11 games. And he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike. In fact, over the longer hauls, it's becoming a regular player. In 23 games this month, he has a base hit in 17 of them. 3-1 to Tony Gwynn. And a tapper down to Votto. Nice play. He'll feed Bailey, who wins the race to the bag. 1 gone. Take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. The injuries continue to mount. Nix and Gomes will flank Willie Taveras in the outfield. Encarnacion, Gonzalez back again at short. Phillips and Votto in the infield. And again, Craig Tatum in for Ryan Hannigan, still bothered by a sore neck. Reds made a couple of roster moves before the game today. Micah Owings on the DL with tightness in his right shoulder. Chris Dickerson injured his right shoulder yesterday in Chicago. The Reds have brought Robert Manuel back from the minor leagues to work out of their bullpen. And they have brought back Drew Sutton as an extra player. They're going to have to make another move before the game on Friday night to replace Micah Owings in the rotation. 1-1 to Cabrera.
Tom, you look at this Reds club over the last, I don't know, month or so. There have been so many different players that have come up from AAA or that have been here, and they've ended up with shoulder injuries that have ended their season. Castillo, Richard. Scary. And they've come from sliding injuries.
Well, the amount of total injuries, period, for this Reds team is staggering when you take a couple of steps back and, take a look at the entire big picture. Ramon Hernandez, their regular catcher, on the disabled list. Votto missed 30 games. Phillips has been playing with a broken bone in the tip of his thumb. Alex Gonzalez twice on the DL, out for a month and a half with elbow surgery. Jay Bruce, the broken wrist. Encarnacion missed 2.5 months with a broken wrist. Willie Taveras has missed nearly 20 games. Edinson Volquez has not been a starter for you really since the end of April.
And even at that point, when he came back so fast, simply because the amount of at-bats that he was going to have in AAA to get ready, they just figured, well, let's just get him here. They needed his defense.
The Padres very much like this young shortstop, Edwin Cabrera. And there's a jam shot roll. That's a good pitch right there by Bailey. And back-to-back ground balls to Votto for the first two retired in the game.
Isn't it amazing, Tom, when he takes the ball and he runs it inside with that fastball, how good of a reaction does he get? You get him balanced right up here. This is when Homer Bailey is at his best. He gets balanced, he gets loaded. Look at the tilt on the shoulder and then the follow through. That's about as smooth as it comes right there. And the hitter thinks that ball is going to come to the plate around 88, 89. And when that 94 jumps on him, it's awfully tough to get the bat through there.
Adrian Gonzalez looks at a pitch down low for ball one. An all-star first baseman for the second year in a row is Gonzalez. Yesterday played in a franchise record 306th consecutive game, which incidentally is the longest such streak in all of Major League Baseball. He broke the old Padre record held by Steve Garvey. And of course, Garvey holds the all-time National League record. 4 consecutive games played. The Major League record, you know who holds that.
Cal
Daniels?
No, I think it's like paper. Ripken.
Pulled foul, 2-1 to Gonzalez. I ran into somebody the other day. It was a former Reds player who had finally made contact with Cal Daniels and said he is really doing well. I think he's still back down in Georgia, but that he's doing a lot of work with kids who are having a tough time, and is very involved again in baseball and teaching baseball. I mean, he was an enormously talented young man. He could really hit.
Thought he was part of a construction company that he owned, and part of the proceeds to that construction company went to a big brother big sister area that he was part of when he was growing up. Now that's just coming off the top of my head, but I think that's what you're referring to.
I guess the point I was making is he's very active again as far as, you know, actively teaching the kids baseball.
Right. Well, I can speak from experience. It is a great character building thing, and it just helps keep you out of trouble, if not anything else.
2-2 to Gonzalez, and it's in the air and not a play off to the third base side. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Tom, whenever you're pitching and you've got one of the better home run hitters standing at the plate and he's late on every pitch that you throw, it's got to make you feel inside that you've got some pretty good stuff for that day. The curveball, the fastball, the slider, even the split finger. Gonzalez has been late on. He's hit them all down the left field line.
2-2 again, and it's strike 3 called, and that'll end the inning. Gonzalez disagrees with Phil Cuzzy's strike 3 call. A perfect first for Bailey. The Reds are coming up. And Josh Gear on the mound.
We need a whole lot of bust down from everybody against this guy and the rest of the ones throwing for the Padres. None are overpowering, especially Josh Gear. He's going to try to stay around the strike zone, keep the ball down. He doesn't walk many people, as evidenced by the fact he's only walked 22 guys. But that ERA is 5.84 in a ballpark that doesn't give up home runs, and he's got 24.
Strike 1 to Willie Taveras. Taveras on the road trip, 6 hits and 25 at bats with a couple of runs batted in. It's a ball and a strike on Willie.
Reds just have to bring some patience to the plate with him tonight.
Tavares overall in a year a .249 batter with a home run and 14 runs batted in. A very interesting series begins tonight at Wrigley Field. The surging Houston Astros taking on the Chicago Cubs. There's a bouncing ball to short and right under the glove of Cabrera. That'll be an error on the talented young shortstop. Erratic still defensively at short, can make the great play and maybe boot the routine play.
Comes in knowing he's got a quick runner. He tries to glove it one-handed, and it looks as though the ball and his left foot get a little bit tangled up as he reaches down for the baseball.
It's like you on the dance floor. Although you tell me you're a very good dancer.
My feet get tangled up in my hands.
My grandfather used to say that I had 2 left feet when it came to dancing. Now the batter, Alex Gonzalez. Although you have told me, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you've even said it on the air, that you are an excellent dancer.
Yeah, when I'm with my wife.
Well, of course when you're with your wife.
Yeah.
I knew that already.
I just wanted to clarify.
All right.
I'm not some guy that goes out there Saturday night fevering.
But do you have it in you if you were out there with Ashley? I mean, and all of a sudden, you know, some of the old Bee Gees Saturday Night Fever sort of music came on. Could you get after it a little bit?
Straight breaking it down.
Would that be a Louisiana breakdown?
No, that's a curveball. Yes, sir.
0-1 the count on Alex Gonzalez. And he looks at a breaking ball low and away. But you know a little bit of a two-step as well, right?
I do.
So a little George Strait comes on. You're dialed in on that angle too, right?
I'm not sure that Ashley knows the two-step, though. In order to do the two-step, you need
you do
2 to tango.
Yeah, you do.
Or 2 to two-step, if you know what I mean.
1-1 on Alex Gonzalez. Tavares 21 stolen bases, and he was nearly picked off. He was leaning a little bit, but was able to pick up that move at the last moment.
This is the point of execution that I was talking about earlier. You get a team give you a break by an error on the first batter. You got to turn that into points.
Well, if you're thinking about starting a runner and perhaps putting on a hit and run, a run and hit, this generally is a count a lot of managers like to do it. Rarely will a team pitch out 2-1, putting the pitcher in a 3-1 count. So let's see if something might be happening here. Of course, the danger right now with Alex Gonzalez, since coming off the DL, started 2 of the 3 games over the weekend in Chicago. He only had 4 minor league rehab games after missing almost a full month following the elbow surgery, and so far he has been swinging and missing a lot.
Breaking balls have been a little rough on him.
Runner goes, and he makes contact, fouls it off to go to 2-2.
That was a hit and run, Tom. You called that right on the money. The reason that you can tell that is as the runner breaks for second base, he's going to turn and look in. You see you see Tavares turn and look in as he starts towards second. That tells you it's a hit and run. If he never looks in, it's a straight steal.
Two and 2 on Alex Gonzalez. Tavares over at first, Gear keeping an eye on him. And a ground ball. Kuzman off a diving play and then can't find the handle. Not sure he would have thrown out Tavares anyway. And they're going to give that a base hit. That was an excellent try by Kuzminoff, having to leave his feet just to get to it.
Well, the ball was headed towards the hole, and Kuzminoff actually had to dive a little bit backwards towards left field to get to the ball. And as he comes up, he's got a lot of dirt in his hands, and that dirt doesn't allow him to get a grip on the baseball, and the baseball just goes skyward.
Well, now the Reds are in business. They have Joey Votto at the plate. A .351 batter, 15 home runs, and 49 runs batted in. Really was the only Red that did anything whatsoever on the last road trip. 6 for 19, including a couple of home runs.
There is absolutely no telling what this Reds club can do with a little bit of confidence and things going in their way just for a little bit. They get things to start to roll the Reds' way, then they may be able to make some ground. They've got a young club, and with young players, you don't know if they're just going to explode in a perfect manner or if they're going to revert back to what they were doing when they were playing bad. But we know this club can play well. They did it early.
1-1 to Votto. Tardy on a fastball away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
But this is the kind of situation, Tom, we have looked at time and time and time again. Runners on base early in the ball game, and the Reds don't get them in. Right now, a new precedent has got to be set. Get these runs in right here, right now.
1-2 to Votto with Taveras and Gonzalez aboard, and it's taken inside, even a count. The Reds as a team on the 6-game road trip, all losses, scored 20 runs, 3 runs a game, and collectively as a team hit .204 on the trip. 2-2 to Votto with 2 on and nobody out. That's a tough pitch right there, and he was able to foul it off.
And a lot of those runs, Tom, came late in the ball game, whether it was the 7th or 8th inning, and they really didn't matter in the score. Watch where this pitch is from Gear. Hard sinker inside, ball going down. Votto still able to get the bat through there and get rid of it.
He started. It didn't look like he went. Wow. Jerry Crawford going to ring him up, and Joey might get thrown out of the game.
He just did.
He's gone. Thrown out of the game. I mean, rarely do you see any sort of outburst from Joey Votto, but boy, he is hot.
Well, this is showing you exactly what is going on in that Reds clubhouse, in their locker room. The leader of this ball club is taking it upon himself in Joey Votto to try to get it all back at one time, and it just can't happen. And this is a lot of frustration for the Reds, all coming out right here and right now. Votto battling and battling and battling. He does not think that he went. And Jerry Crawford, who is the crew chief in this crew, and he has known Dusty Baker a long time, and he did not throw him out until he gave Joey plenty of time.
He did.
And he did not throw him out right off the bat, as I thought originally. He gave him a lot of time before he threw him out of the ball game.
Jerry Crawford is the crew chief of this umpiring group. So here we are in the first inning, and the Reds' best player is out of the game.
And Joey has got to learn that frustration is part of this game, and I know he's frustrated. They're all frustrated, but getting thrown out of the ball game is not going to help you.
Well, I would imagine we're going to see Adam Rosales come in the game and play first base. I don't know who else you have to play first base. I mean, Jerry Hairston Jr. could play anywhere.
Right.
But Rosales is a guy this season
that has
who of those available would have the most experience at first. All right, 1 away in the inning, and now Brandon Phillips with 2 on and 1 out in a scoreless game, and Brandon looks at strike 1.
And this goes back to what I said earlier, Tom. You get breaks early in the ball game, you've got to make them cash. You got to cash them in for points, and this is where the Reds have struggled.
Brandon Phillips, 14 home runs, a team high 64 runs batted in. That ball is launched down the left field line, and they're going to cash him in a 3-spot on a home run by Phillips. Home run number 15 for Brandon Phillips. RBI 65, 66, 67, the 3-0 lead.
Well, Phillips goes to the machine and hits jackpot. And that's exactly what the Reds needed after Votto was out of the game. It couldn't have been any better than that.
Edwin Encarnacion down, strike one. And Gear right back to work, and he's even the count of ball and a strike. I know you and Chris Welsh both feel like Edwin Encarnacion is just slightly off and getting very, very close to getting things back together and getting it rolling.
Phillips gets a pitch in. It's down. It's exactly where he likes it to go out of the ballpark, and that's exactly where he went with it. Most of the time you see Brandon Phillips with pitches with that kind of situation, taking pitches and trying to drive them the other way. That pitch was down and in. It was a first pitch, and he launched it.
Two-hopper down to Kuzminoff, and there are 2 away in the inning. San Diego defensively, presented by Ford. Kyle Blanks, Tony Gwynn, Will Venable, left, center, and right. Kevin Kuzminoff, Everett Cabrera, Luis Rodriguez, Adrian Gonzalez along the infield. Gear and Eliezer Alfonso, the battery. Alfonso, a former Giant. Two down for Lance Nix. Nix at 244. Had 1 hit in 9 at bats on the road trip.
Brandon Phillips, you can see him stay back, really spin on that back foot, and drive the ball out of the ballpark. And that's where hitters have got to make adjustments. They've got to learn to let the ball get deeper in the strike zone, and that's what Nix is having trouble with here. He's swinging at the ball, and it's not to the plate yet.
That one off the plate. That's what the pitcher wants you to do. Hook that thing to the right side for an easy ground ball. But the Reds take advantage of an error and an infield hit. Get a 3-run home run by Phillips and lead 3-0 at the end of 1. Renick's come up in the last 2 days. Manuel brought up earlier today. Tatum up recently when Hernandez went on the DL. And Bruce Sutton now an extra outfielder with Chris Dickerson on the disabled list. Well, a lot of guys coming, a lot of guys going.
But the bottom line is you're still going to keep playing.
Swung on and fouled out a play by Kevin Kuzminoff. Adam Rosato's playing in his 11th game at first base. He'll take over for Joey Votto. If you're just joining us, Votto thrown out of the game at the bottom of the first inning. Went on a check swing on a 2-2 count. The appeal went to the third base umpire Jerry Crawford, who said Votto went around. Joey yelled a couple of things at him, threw his helmet off. Jerry Crawford waited, threw his bat in the air, and when he did that, that was all she wrote for Joey Votto. Thrown out of the game.
Second time for Votto, and it's happened here 2 times rather quickly.
Bottom fell out of that pitch, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Homer Bailey.
Now that would be an awfully good split finger right there from Homer Bailey. You follow it with a fastball. He got in on his hands with a fastball earlier. Watch where this ball starts right there. Good night, Irene. And that's really what a fastball is. You are trying to look at the arm of the pitcher and you swing at the arm, and yet the pitch comes in a little bit slower and has a little dive to it. It's all set up by the fastball. That's why I said it's so important for Homer Bailey to get that fastball over the plate for strikes early in this ballgame.
As Kyle Blank's a mountain of a man, 6 feet 6 inches tall. They say he goes 280 pounds.
He's big. I didn't realize. I was looking for somebody tall and skinny. This looks like a linebacker waiting to check.
That's a defensive line.
Yeah, no,
280. That's D line too.
I mean, when you think 6'6", you think of Sexton or Derek Lee or somebody along that line. You don't think of this guy.
They're wondering why he didn't play defensive tackle for Penn State, a native Pennsylvania. 3-0 pitch. And there's a 4-pitch walk. It's hard to walk that guy. It's a lot of strike zone, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Maybe Bailey lost his concentration when he walked up to the plate and he thought, man, I'm going to hit that dude.
Godzilla in a batter's box.
Go out here and snap me in half like a matchstick.
Now Will Venable. Venable brought up from AAA Portland at the start of June. A .218 batter, a home run, 5 runs batted in. He's played in 35 games. We brought up earlier, he is the son of former Red Max Venable. Runner goes, got a great jump, throw down to second, and they told us before the game started this guy's a big guy, but he's a very fast runner and a very good athlete. He easily stole second base right there.
That's his first stolen base of the year. Watch Homer Bailey, leg up. Looks like a good drive, hard fastball. You know what? That was not a fastball. That was a curveball straight over the top. And that's what you want your mechanics to look like. Fastball every time until right before the ball gets to the plate.
0-2 on Venable, a 2 sports standout at Princeton University in the Ivy League. Played both baseball and basketball and was first team all Ivy League in both sports. He's gone on 3 straight pitches. That's 3 strikeouts for Homer Bailey.
3 different pitches for Homer Bailey there, and that's what really takes it. He stays back on this back leg, and that's what really allows him to drive the ball this way homeward. He gets up hip here on the arm as he drives the ball towards home plate, really using that front arm to pull himself forward. Whether the pitch was a fastball or not, they all look the same.
Base hit into center field. They're going to wave around the big fella. Here comes it.
Well,
what a throw by Willie Taveras. A one-hop strike. Tatum puts on the tag to end the inning. Or if the sign is hit out in right center field. To register for your chance to win during an upcoming game, visit your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. 5th outfield assist by Willie Taveras this season. He prevents San Diego from getting on the board in the second inning against Homer Bailey. So now the Reds bat in the bottom of the inning in front 3-0. Ball 1 to Jonny Gomes from Josh Geer.
What do you think Tatum was thinking with blanks coming around third full bore?
You better find a way not to think about it. Would you agree?
Yeah. Catch the ball, pray later.
Good breaking ball there from Geer. 2-1. Check swing. He went around. 2-2.
As a catcher, you don't look at the runner. You just catch the baseball. As you get the baseball, you move towards where the runner is coming so you can put the tag on. If he's going to run over you, you just make sure you got the ball in your hand. A lot of times as a catcher, you're just a sitting duck.
High drive into left center field, and Jonny Gomes has played long ball. 4-0. So the Reds a 3-run home run in the first inning by Phillips. A solo blast by Gomes to begin the second. Greg Tatum a fly ball to center field for the first out of the inning.
Looks like a changeup or a knuckle curve out away from Gomes. I can't really tell by the hold there. Actually, that was supposed to be a slider, and Gear got around that slider a little bit. It turns into a cement mixer. You've seen those trucks driving down the road. They just spin in the back to keep that concrete loose. Well, Gomes just busted it up all over the place.
See, both these teams have given up the long ball with regularity through the month of July. The Reds, along with the Brewers, tied for the most at 17, and San Diego may get to that number tonight. (3-0) to Homer Bailey. Well, you know, oftentimes these major league players, when they step in the box or they're out on the mound, you wonder what they might be thinking about. And well, these two young men, they were doing this very thing going all the way back 8 years ago. 8 years ago, Homer Bailey is a 15-year-old high school freshman pitching for LaGrange High School in Texas. Pitched in relief in the Texas 3A state championship game against Forney High School. Guess who was Forney's ace pitcher? Josh Gear. Gear just throws out Bailey. Bailey pitched out of relief after starting the quarterfinal game. In the semifinal game, they brought him into the title game against Gear's school, Forney High School. Homer retired all 8 batters he faced. LaGrange won the game 4-3. And as a 15-year-old freshman, Homer Bailey was the Class 3A tournament most valuable player. Did you ever have that, Cowboy, where a guy stepped in that maybe you faced in a high school game, then you faced him in a major league game? I'm sure it happened in college, but maybe high school?
That's what I'm trying to think of, because when I saw that, I thought surely there's been one guy that I faced in high school. I know that Chris Hammond, who was a former Cincinnati Red pitcher, went on to pitch for the Florida Marlins. We played for rival high schools, but we didn't play at the same time. I can't think of anybody right now. Oh, yes, I am. Bo Jackson. I forgot all about him.
How do you forget about Bo Jackson? I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Because he was in the American League.
Well, I tell you, I've always known you had something just slightly off.
That's it.
I mean, to forget about Bo Jackson.
But we didn't play against each other.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot I played in a foursome with Jack Nicklaus one time. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Jeep, it's a new day. Have fun out there. Jeep. No, just outside the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. For a $2 donation, you get to try and win some points, win some good stuff. And all the proceeds playing cornhole out there go to the Reds Hall of Fame Community Fund. We'll stop on by during this homestand. On the ground to short off the bat of Eliezer Alfonso. One away to begin the San Diego third. Reds in front 4-0. Well, what better way to spend your afternoon than in a ball game? The next Paycor Business Day special happens this Thursday. The Reds and the Padres. And while you're here, enter for your chance to win tickets to the next Paycor Business Day game by stopping by the fan accommodation station. For tickets to that game or any game, call 381-REDS or log on to reds.com. Here against Bailey with one out and nobody on. Another real good series starts tonight at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Dodgers taking on the Cardinals, and right from the get-go in the first inning, Matt Holliday, a run-scoring double to put St. Louis in front. 1-0. The Cardinals have scored a single run in the second inning and lead 2-0. And of course, going into play tonight in the National League Central Division, the Cubs a half game better than St. Louis. But look what everybody's done, Cowboy, since the All-Star break. And unfortunately, it's not been good news for the Reds.
Well, that's the one part of this ball game they have got to turn around, and that's playing better baseball.
Gone swinging his gear. 2 away in the inning.
You can count it up to a bad month of July, but you got to come back and start playing better. Watch this breaking ball right here. This is a curveball. Actually, it's a slider. Starts in the middle of the plate and just dives down and away. Curveball is straight over the top and straight down. The slider is down and away and still changing plans.
Check swing and a miss by Tony Gwynn. Gwynn grounded to Votto his first time up.
That was the curveball there from Homer Bailey. Continues to mix them up. Tell you what, he's got that split. He's got everything working right now. But that split finger tonight is the best I've seen it. He throws curveball for strike 1 to Tony Gwynn, split finger that he swings over for strike 2, and most likely will come back with a hard heater right here.
Hard heater indeed, and a check swing roller foul. 97 miles per hour, that fastball in on the hands of Tony Gwynn.
Had this conversation many times. You throw curveball and another off-speed pitch in back-to-back fashion. There's no way that hitter can catch up with that fastball in the third pitch. Not with that kind of velocity.
Oh, and 2 on Tony Gwynn. Fastball up and away. One and 2 on Gwynn. Pulled to Brandon Phillips. It'll be a 1-2-3 third for Homer Bailey. He's allowed 1 hit and struck out 4 through the front 3 and has a 4-0 lead. Any sandwich on the everyday value menu and choose to make it a foot long or a 6-inch fresh value meal with chips and a drink for only $5. Cowboy, that's right up your alley.
I like any kind of food except rutabaga. You a big rutabaga guy?
I don't even know what it is.
Oh, it's a vegetable.
Fly ball down the right field line, and it's out of play. What was the final tally for you on the Skyline Chili tonight? I mean, 2 or 3 cheese conies. You have a little 3-way. I never really got an eye on what you had on the plate tonight.
I don't eat the spaghetti. I like the chili dogs.
Conies.
Yeah, whatever. It's chili dogs, what we call them. I love that. With chili and cheese and mustard. No, I good.
How many of those you have? About 7?
No, I just have 2. Just 2.
2 and 1 on Alex Gonzalez.
I wanted to.
Still have time. Denise and Gwen back there get you all fixed up.
I got to do this.
That is a fair ball and a check swing out in front of the plate, and Alfonso will throw out Gonzalez to begin the Reds' third inning. We'll get to Great American Ballpark early for the Reds and the Rockies game this Saturday. The first 20,000 fans in attendance receive a picturesque keepsake frame photo of Great American Ballpark on opening day, courtesy of Loft. For tickets to Saturday's game or any game, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. By the way, for those of you that may already have tickets to that Saturday game on August the 29th against the Dodgers, on any schedule that any one of you may have, magnet schedule, pocket schedule, whatever, that schedule will tell you that is a 7:10 game. That game has been changed to a 4:10 in the afternoon game to accommodate the Fox national broadcast. So they'll be carrying that game between the Reds and the Dodgers. Again, that is August the 29th here at Great American Ballpark. Rosales, his first at bat, a roller back to the mound, and they're 2 away in the inning. So please make note of that.
The Reds are really going to have to start waiting longer on the pitches from Josh Gear. You see the swing by Gonzalez hit off the end of the bat. Same thing with Rosales. And if you don't wait on this guy, he's going to eat you alive. He is a changeup, curveball, sinker type pitcher. He will not overpower you. So if you don't think up the middle and the other way, you're going to get out in front and hit those weak ground balls.
Well, nothing weak about Brandon Phillips' first at bat. He clubbed a pitch down in the strike zone, down the left field line for a 3-run home run, his 15th of the year, to get the Reds off and running. Jonny Gomes, a solo home run to lead off the second, and that's where we stand 4-0. Well, when the Reds get it done with an RBI this season, that's another $25 from Shakely, which goes to the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. Two and one to count.
You can see Phillips waiting on that changeup there. That ball started up and away and just kind of dove down and in.
High fly ball, right center field. Wynn will run this one down, and it's a perfect third inning for Josh Gear. We move to the fourth. Reds 4, San Diego nothing.
And he really keeps his thumb right underneath the baseball and right underneath his fingers. When he's throwing a slider, really what he tries to do is just slide that thumb up just a little bit so he has a tighter grip and gets his fingers on top of the baseball a little bit more, creating a smaller break but yet a faster pitch. The equalizer, of course, tonight, we've talked about it time and time, it is the fastball. 96 miles an hour will put you to sleep in a hurry.
And it's put San Diego to sleep so far in this one. They only have one hit against Bailey. He has fanned 4 and walked just 1 batter. 2, 3, and 4 in the order this time. Cabrera, Gonzalez, and Kuzmanov. And these are their 3 best hitters in their lineup. Breaking ball down and in. 2 and 1 to Cabrera. Again, grounded down to first base as Cabrera did his first time. Rosales handles it for out number 1. All right, time to take a look at our athletic trivia question tonight. How many pitchers have recorded 5 or more wins with both the Reds and the Padres? Now, you know, I would have never thought of this guy until you brought his name up earlier. You know, Chris Hammond, if I'm not mistaken, had one of his better seasons in his major league career with the San Diego Padres. I might start with him on that list. I want you to finish the thought, by the way, on the Bo Jackson thing, because you clarified it in between innings.
Well, I played against Bo Jackson in a game in high school. And the reason I didn't bring his name up as far as playing against him in the big leagues is we never played against each other in the big leagues. We were in the big leagues at the same time, but we never faced each other because I was a career National Leaguer, he a career American Leaguer.
Oh, and 2 on Adrian Gonzalez. Now, did you pitch against him in a high school game?
In the high school All-Star game.
Man, how'd that at bat go?
I couldn't tell you.
You got to be kidding.
No. My dad had a, what do you call it when you do the Heimlich? Yeah, he got choked on a hot dog right in the middle of the game, and that whole game is like a blank.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
obviously he was okay.
Yeah, they had to take him to the hospital, but I mean, the game is like a blank. I remember going to the game and going to the hospital. That's it. And I pitched and played shortstop. I have no idea what I did. It's pretty sad.
Well, thankfully, most importantly, Dad was all right.
Yeah, he was fine. I can remember seeing him up in the stands with his eyes that looked like they were as big as boulders.
2-2 on Adrian Gonzalez. And Bailey misses. Like 96. Similar pitch he got the call to strike out Gonzalez on in the first inning.
Looked like he tried to be a little bit too careful with that one there instead of just letting it fly.
Breaking ball shot into left field, and this will go to the wall. Gonzalez in with a stand-up double, his 13th two-base hit of the year, and he's a one-out base runner in the San Diego 4th inning.
Curveball stayed up in the strike zone. You can see Tatum set up in the middle of the plate. Comes out of Bailey's hand, but when it comes out, it shows up early. What I mean by that is instead of the ball coming to the plate and going straight down, it came out of his hand over the top of his hand, and immediately Gonzalez saw it as an off-speed pitch. It's not how big it breaks, it's how sharp it breaks.
Now Kevin Kuzminoff. He struck out swinging his first time up. Reds get a 3-run home run from Brandon Phillips in the first inning. A solo blast by Jonny Gomes an inning later. And that's all the scoring thus far. We're in the top of the 4th inning with 1 on and 1 out. Ball 1 low to Kuzminoff.
You can see Bailey starting to rush a little bit as he comes to home plate. Overthrowing just a tad. Just got to back off just a little bit. Get that ball in there where he wants it. Now the guy that's pitching on the other team, Josh Gear, throws his fastball at 90. That pitch there was a slider at 90. Started in the middle of the plate and the bottom fell out of it. Homer definitely has the fastball working tonight. He's just got to get it around the strike zone where they'll swing. There you go.
2-2.
Let's watch Homer from the side of the mechanics, and you want him to stay here the whole time, and you can see him start to leak just a little bit towards home plate. You don't want to have that happen. You want him to stay on the mound with his chest, the sternum of his chest, over that back foot.
High fly ball, pretty well hit into left center, but Taveras will have room at the track. Gonzalez going to tag up. Here comes a throw by Taveras, and he is out.
How about Taveras? Wow.
has thrown out a runner at the plate, has thrown out a runner at third, and both of them to end innings. What a throw from the track by Taveras. It's not an easy question by any means. 11 up. Edwin Encarnacion down the line. If it's fair, it's gone. It's fair, and it is gone. Well, you said, Cowboy, he was going to get it rolling. He just missed hitting one at Wrigley Field yesterday, and this one lands in the seats. 5-0 Reds.
If I was Edwin Encarnacion, I'd move right up on top of home plate and I'd jerk everything. He likes the ball in, the ball that's in, he handles. The ball that hurts him is the ball that's off the plate away. Why not move right up on the dish and just jerk everything like he did that ball right there? Heck with trying to feather the ball out into right field. Get up there and smack it in the upper deck. Turn and burn.
The Reds hit 3 home runs in the ball game tonight. A 3-run home run by Phillips, solo home runs by Gomes and Edwin. Two and one to Lance Nix. Why have you felt like Encarnacion was on the verge of getting things going?
Because he hasn't done anything yet. He's only hitting 200. Sooner or later, he's got to come through.
Well, Nix, after just missing getting hit by a pitch, does get hit. And he'll take first base.
I mean, Encarnacion is not a 300 hitter, but Lord, he's not a 200 hitter either.
As a follow-up to that trivia question, here are some of the names to win 5 or more games with the Reds and the Padres. Remember Clay Kirby, David Wells, Brett Tomko, Joey Hamilton, Chris Hammond, Dave Tomlin, Bob Shirley, Kevin Jarvis, Dennis Rasmussen, Freddie Norman, and Chris Welsh, who might be watching tonight down in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Little 4-day getaway for Chris before he's back in the saddle on Friday night when Colorado comes in.
Work on his golf game a little bit. Pocket's getting full. Gomes is strong enough that if he can get a pitch that's out over the plate and up a little bit, he can hook that baby out of here just like he did last time. It doesn't have to be in. It's just got to be elevated.
One and two to Jonny Gomes. A home run to begin the inning by Encarnacion. Nix hit by a pitch. And now the 1-2 on the way to Jonny Gomes. Here it is, just off the outside corner.
And for the Reds tonight, it doesn't have to be Nolan Ryan out on the mound. It can be anybody. All you want to do is get your offense going so you can get that swagger back when you take the field and you go out there to play the game. When you come off of a road trip that was so difficult for this ball club as the last one was, you start to duck every time you hear a loud noise, and you don't want to do that.
To the count on Jonny Gomes. Boy, you saw that pan down the Reds dugout, and it seems like every guy, if not every other guy, is hurt, either on the disabled list in Chris Dickerson's case. To his right, Ryan Hannigan, He's not been able to start now in 3 straight games with a bad neck. Jay Bruce, a broken wrist. Edinson Volquez right down there as well. That one jerked into left field, right into the mid of Kyle Blanks, and back to first. Knicks 1 away.
And the report on Volquez today seemed like he threw the ball very well and that he was set to go on a rehab assignment. When I saw him throw the other day, it didn't look like it was so hot. And I'm hoping to goodness that he'll be able to go on a rehab assignment and that all will be well. For a young kid like that put together a 17-game win season last year, you don't ever want to see somebody like that get hurt.
1 away for Craig Tatum, looking for his first major league hit. Flied out to center field, his first time up here from the bullpen earlier today is Edinson Volquez. That was before he started to really start to cut it loose a little bit. Man, oh man, have the Reds missed him.
Oh.
I mean, you really can't even put into words. Forget the fact that he won 17 games last year, was an all-star last year, but this year when your team starts to go into a tailspin, and everybody in your rotation is due for a bad outing every now and again. Unfortunately for the Reds, like on their last road trip, they did not get a quality start from anybody that towed the rubber to begin a game. And when you have a guy like Volquez, it's another guy capable of stopping losing streaks.
And he was very good at that last year. It seemed like when they had to have a game and had to put a win on the board, he was able to go out and really put together a great ball game. And the thing for Volquez, Tom, is he's not anywhere near his ceiling. I mean, he's got a lot of growth, both mentally and physically, to learn about pitching and reading hitters in general.
There's ball 4 to Tatum, so he draws a walk. A homer, a hit batter, an out, and a walk. Putting 2 on for Homer Bailey. Darren Balsley, the very highly regarded pitching coach of the San Diego Padres, will come out for a visit. Well, you talk to people around the Padres organization, they feel like Darren Balsley is as good as anybody in the game at what he does for a living.
Well, everyone that I have talked to about Balsley talks about his relationship that he has with his pitchers. Not just that everyone that they're good, but that everyone is, they respect the player and the player respects the teacher. And that's exactly what he is. He is a teacher. He takes what you have and tries to really make it the best that it can be. Spending time on tape, spending time with you in the bullpen, and the communication process, it's the best.
And of course, if you're going to be a pitching coach for Bud Black, I mean, you got to believe that you're going to be a guy that knows what he's doing. And you're talking about Bud Black now.
I played with Buddy, and he is sharp as a tack.
He was a pitching coach for a number of years with the Angels, including the year they won the World Series under Mike Scioscia. Homer Bailey puts down the bunt to advance. Lance Nix on a third and Craig Tatum on a second. Well done by Homer Bailey, his first sacrifice of this young year for him.
You were talking about Bud Black. He's one of those managers that he can look out there on the mound and know exactly what's going on and why it's going on. And if you're not doing your job as a pitching coach and as a teacher, Buddy is going to know that by what's going on with the pitcher.
Well, it's amazing the job you walk into, the job you think you're walking into sometimes, and the job it turns out to be for Bud Black. I mean, he had teams all over Major League Baseball that wanted him to be their manager. As that one has popped up and caught 2 in the inning, we'll revisit the Bud Black topic when we return. Reds get a home run by Encarnacion and lead as we go to the 5th, 5-0. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Willie Tavera is the first Reds outfielder with 2 or more outfield assists in a game since Jay Bruce did it in August of last year. Kyle Blanks a drive to deep left center field. It's up against the wall. And that'll be a double for Kyle Blanks, leading off the San Diego 5th inning. Only their 3rd hit off Homer Bailey.
That looked like a BP swing. Like it just happened to make a little contact and the thing almost went out of the stadium.
When you're that big, how hard do you have to swing?
I don't know. But watch the swing. It doesn't look like he just does a whole lot. Just kind of flips the bat out there, rolls the wrist over, and look how far this thing goes. Of course, you know Homer Bailey's throwing the ball 95, 96. You meet it at the right time and you're that big, the ball's going to jump off that bat.
Now Will Venable, he struck out swinging his first time up. Breaking ball hammered into the plate area. Foul, strike 1 to Venable.
Right now for Homer Bailey, you forget about the guy that's at second base. You're pitching for outs. Everybody that comes to the plate, you try to put them in the book.
One and one to Venable. Carlos Lee is homered in the Houston 2nd inning to give the Astros a 1-0 lead over Carlos Zambrano and the Cubs. Breaking ball in there, strike. Meanwhile, the Dodgers on the board in St. Louis, but still trail 2-1 that game in the bottom of the 4th. Milwaukee a run and still batting in the bottom of the 1st inning at home against the Nationals. Here the Reds lead 5-0. They've hit 3 home runs in the game. 2-2 to Venable.
Big out right here for Homer Bailey, especially after the double. You just want to go back to work getting outs as quick as you can.
2-2 on Will Venable, and Bailey a check of the runner twice and out of the plate. Gas and hit down the left field line. Foul.
And as you learn coming up through the big leagues, you learn how to pitch in 2-1 ball games. You learn to pitch in games where you're behind by 1. You've also got to learn to pitch in games where you're ahead by a large margin. You don't worry about the guy standing at second base. You've got a 5-run lead. He got a hit. Yeah, now you go back to getting outs.
Breaking ball, chop foul.
Because if you expend too much energy right here trying to keep Max Venable from advancing the runner from second base or worrying about the runner at second base jockeying around, then what you're going to end up doing is you're going to walk the guy standing at home plate and get yourself in big inning trouble, and you don't want to do that.
He will advance a runner on the ground ball to Phillips. 1 away in the inning.
Nice job by Phillips.
Time for our Geico quote of the day. And certainly a lot of people around here fascinated by what took place over the weekend during Hall of Fame induction ceremonies in Cooperstown, New York. Henry Aaron said, "I would like to see Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. He belongs there." And then Reggie Jackson said, "Believe me, that little session Hank had with you guys wasn't anything but impromptu. He wanted to get that out there. It was time." And of course, that has been the talk really all over the entire baseball world. As that ball swung on and fouled out of play. And part of Reds Live today, Jim Day and John Fay talking about Pete Rose. And when you have a guy like Hank Aaron, who is so universally respected, I mean, really on a level without parallels. Not to say there aren't guys out there that are thought of as highly as Henry Aaron, but if there's anybody out there as highly thought of, I don't know who it is.
He's bigger than E.F. Hutton. When he talks, you be quiet and listen.
And for him to come out there and say that, and apparently there was a gathering of many of the Veterans Committee board members, Joe Morgan, Frank Robinson, Henry Aaron.
It's more than just words.
Expressing their support to Commissioner Bud Selig, that it's time to, 20 years have gone by, and time to perhaps rethink about reinstating Pete Rose. He can no longer go in as voted on by the Baseball Writers Association of America. He would have to go in only on the Veterans Committee, voted on by living Hall of Famers. And certainly there have been those quite critical of Rose and his future in the Hall of Fame, most notably Bob Feller, Ralph Kiner, just to name a couple. But there are a lot of guys that certainly would be extremely supportive of Rose getting the chance to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But when Henry Aaron steps out there and makes that comment,
to me,
all of a sudden the landscape is very different.
Because how many times, Tom, do you hear Hank Aaron come out and say anything? And he came out and said, it's time for Pete. That's bigger than big.
3-2 to count on Luis Rodriguez with a runner at third and one out. 97-mile-per-hour fastball on the gun in left center field.
Of course, folks around here in Cincinnati have been saying that for a long time. I saw that picture of Pete when he was younger. Reminds me of his son, Petey Jr.
Sure does.
He was my locker mate when I was here in Cincinnati. It looked just like him.
3-2 to Rodriguez. And it's lined into left field, a base hit. So the Padres on the board. A leadoff double, a one-out single to make it a 5-1 ball game here in the fifth. It's a good piece of hitting there by Rodriguez.
And a good piece of pitching by Homer Bailey. He didn't walk him. He continued even at 3-1 to pound those fastballs down and away. And he made Rodriguez go get the ball. Whether you swing or not, it's a strike. And he goes out there to get it.
And now Bailey to face the number 8 hitter in the lineup, Eliezer Alfonso. He grounded to Alex Gonzalez his only time up. Each team with 4 hits, but the Reds have hit 3 home runs. First pitch in there, strike. Threw that one right by him at 95 miles per hour.
And the Moses out of Louisiana, baby. Named him after man of the 12th.
Why is everything Louisiana?
I don't know, man.
I don't understand that. You were born in Alabama.
Right.
You went to college in Mississippi. You still live in Mississippi. So why all the Louisiana stuff?
I don't know. Maybe I like to eat over there.
Well, I know, but none of those sayings have anything to do with food. It's baseball. Now, why would everything be Louisiana?
I don't know. If I did, I could tell you. It just comes out.
I know, but you've heard some of that stuff since you, or did you make this stuff up, or have you heard it since you were a little guy?
Oh, I've heard a lot of it since I was little.
Fly ball into right field. Gomes will back up. Louisiana can of corn there, 2 away in the inning.
That's good.
No, I mean, seriously, where does that come from?
I have no idea. I guess just, when you're playing the game as you grow up, you hear different sayings. You hear people say different things, and some things stick, some things don't. And whatever comes around, you hear me say it. Here's Drew Macias.
He'll be batting for the pitcher, Josh Gear. Gear goes 4 innings in the game, allows 4 hits, 5 runs. And of the 5 runs, 4 are earned runs. Ball hit hard into left field, but room out there for Nick sitting over. Padres get a run on a couple of hits and leave a man. Middle of the fifth. Reds in front by 4. Name the big leaguer he is going to be imitating. We're going to give you 4 ex-Padres to choose from, and you can text your answer to 37664. Text 1, Gary Templeton. 2 for Fred McGriff. 3, Tony Gwynn. 4, Adrian Gonzalez. I'm with you. I'm going number 1, Gary Templeton. That's what I said. I can promise you, if that's...
That looked like Gary Templeton when he stood up there the first time. I imagine that's what he was doing.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if it's anybody else but Gary Templeton, then the batting stance guy better get back to work. Because I can promise you, that is not Fred McGriff, it ain't Tony Gwynn, no. And it's not Adrian Gonzalez.
Mojica in for the 46th time. Boy, he leads everybody on this club in appearances, and I guess so with a 3.31 earned run average. Opponent's hitting 266. He's only walked 12 guys, so dance on the one who run you.
Very, very good numbers indeed. 49 innings, 37 strikeouts, only 12 walks for Mojica. In there, strike Alex Gonzalez, 3-1. Check swing, and it's in play. Gonzalez slams his bat to the turf, and the catch is made by Cabrera, 1 away. We invite you to bring your family down to the ballpark Sunday, August 2nd for the next eReach.com Family Day. Now listen up, when one family member buys a full price ticket in advance of game day, the entire rest of the family gets non-premium tickets at half price. That'll be the Reds and the Rockies, and don't forget, after the game on August the 2nd, a concert from Grammy Award winner Stephen Curtis Chapman. Call 381 Reds for tickets or go to Reds.com. On his Faith Day here at the ballpark on Sunday. Found out to play first base side, and I would imagine we'll have a real good crowd for that on Sunday. Of course, we have the Creation Museum over on the Kentucky side of the river, which has become an enormous tourist attraction. There's a ground ball to the right side, easy for Rodriguez, and the first 2 gone in the Reds' 5th inning. So now Brandon Phillips, he had a 3-run home run in the opening inning to get the Reds off and running. He flied out to center in the 3rd.
Back in the 1st inning, he gets a sinker, first pitch, down and in, turn and burn. That was a line drive out of the ballpark. And that is something the Reds really needed at that point, especially with Votto just getting thrown out of the game moments before that happened.
One and one on Brandon Phillips. Base is empty with 2 outs, and looks at a fastball right down the middle. Well, but he could throw it hard. That fastball at 95 miles per hour. Mojica came over from Cleveland back on April the 1st of this year for a player to be named or cash considerations. Last year with the Indians, this guy had an ERA of almost 7 in 33 relief outings for Cleveland. Well, the ball got away on strike 3, and Phillips is going to reach base safely. That'll be a strikeout and a wild pitch, allowing Phillips to get to first base with 2 away in the inning.
He almost didn't run here, Tom. Breaking ball or a split finger down and away. Phillips is embarrassed because he struck out. Then he realizes the ball bounces away and he takes off for first base.
Encarnacion, a one-hopper right to Gonzalez, and that's that in the Reds' 5th inning. 1 man left. We played 5. Reds 5. Padres 1.
Going to be placed in the Ohio River. And the celebrity ones which you're looking at right now, signed by, look at that, Marty Brennaman and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley. Now you can sponsor a rubber duck out there, and the proceeds go to the Free Store Food Banks. You're helping the homeless here. And President Obama signed one, Billy Joel, Elton John, Toby Keith, Willie Nelson you're looking at right there. And even lesser known celebrities have signed them, including, yes, Marty Brennaman, Tom Brennaman, Chris Welsh, George Grand, and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley. So now check out this duck, guys. This is personally made for you guys. You see, this duck over here has a cowboy hat. This one has Fox Sports on it for Tom.
With salt and pepper.
With salt and pepper, the salt and pepper hair.
Yeah.
And you see, pitched by Homer. And the big duck in the middle is your father, and they've got, if you can see it, white hair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And there's the microphone, signed by all 3.
It's at the ball there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well, I didn't. You said that, not me. Now you can log on to. You said that, not me.
Put a divot in there.
You said that, not me. RubberDuckRegatta.org is where you can bid on these, or call 513-929-DUCK.
Yep.
And again, it goes a great cause here, feeding the homeless. And imagine that, 100,000 ducks dropped into the Ohio River, some of which celebrity involvement. And I don't know.
It's always been a great event. I mean, it
really
has for a long, long time. You mentioned the 15th year they've had it. They raise a lot of money, and we know, we've read some of the stories in the local paper about our local food bank here. They've been short on food with everything that's been going on in this economy, and many people losing their houses and all that kind of thing. So this year, very important, as it is every year, to make a big night of it.
Does this thing float?
He picked it up. This thing is on.
Dude, it weighs like 5-10 pounds. Here, my back's hurt.
I think they're going to actually take the duck off.
And
And see the person, it says Celebrity Duck Auction, Marty Brennaman, Tom Brennaman, Cowboy Jeff Brantley. Buy a duck, feed the hungry is the slogan. So
that's right. Very nice, Jimbo.
All right, boys.
Are you on one
You've made it.
Are you on the one with Chris and George?
I am not.
You're the only guy in this operation that won a local sports Emmy the other night for your work along with Jeff Pecoro. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Kent Weaver, the producer and the director, well, most of the time, not all the time, Christian Roberts, but congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I mean, they didn't win an Emmy, George and Chris.
Still
so
not
why
worthy
are
of
you
being
not
on
on
the
there
duck.
with them?
I don't know. I haven't arrived. I'm not big enough as Tom Brennaman or certainly.
I would never
Cowboy.
say that. I wouldn't. You know better now.
Maybe I ought to work in Louisiana into my lingo. Maybe that'll work.
That's a big old yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm out, boys.
Nice.
See you on the post-game show.
Thank you.
I'll leave the duck with you guys.
Quack, quack.
Now, Brian Utterman told us we weren't on the post-game show tonight, so we may not see you later after the ball game.
Oh,
sad
a
place.
little bit of lobbying going on. I see.
No.
We're going to be talking about a big Red Legs victory.
That's right. Leading 5-1 as San Diego bats here in the top of the 6th, and that ball is launched into right field, and it is gone. Everett Cabrera. Told you they very much like this young man's future. But he has found the seats for the first time in his major league career. First career home run for Cabrera.
1-1 fastball. He leaves it over the plate. Middle in. And for a left-handed hitter, that's where they like it. And he hit that baby right on the nose. And even with this lead that Homer has had, the lead is now down to 3, and he's going to have to go back to changing pitches and changing speeds as he was earlier in the ballgame. He's gotten to where he's throwing too many fastballs now.
Well, the Reds have a few bodies beginning to stir out in that bullpen in left center field. Not going to take a chance to let this 5-0 lead get away. You mentioned now it's down to a 5-2 game, and it's strike 1 to Adrian Gonzalez. Although Bailey doesn't appear anywhere close to running out of steam. That first fastball to Gonzalez at 97 miles per hour.
Well, I don't think that Homer is ever going to go down in velocity in a ball game. I think his arm is always going to allow him to throw that fastball. But it's the location that you have to look at when he starts to fatigue. When his location starts getting over the plate, that's when it's time to go to the bullpen. Don't look at the gun. Look at where the pitches are.
0-2 to count on Homer Bailey to Adrian Gonzalez.
Every pitcher has a mark of when they start to tire. If you start out throwing the ball 82 miles an hour, well, you may be at 82 forever, but when the ball starts to elevate in the strike zone, it's time to go get him.
In the air left field, Lance Nix backing up on it at the wall, and it is gone. Back-to-back home runs off the bat of Cabrera and Gonzalez. And all of a sudden, a 5-0 lead is down to a 2-run ball game.
And I'm telling you right now, Homer Bailey is not hitting his spots right now. That split finger was up in the strike zone. The fastball that Cabrera hit out was right in the middle of the plate. And because of that, you either got to talk to him, give him a little breather, or you get him out. And you can see him really starting to leak towards home plate. When you get fatigued, you don't sit on that back leg as long as you normally would. Because sitting on the back leg is what allows you to drive the ball to home plate. When your legs start to get tired, you start to leak towards home plate.
No wonder Adrian Gonzalez is among the major league leaders in home runs on the road.
This is your strength right here. That's your legs. When this part of the body starts going towards home plate, that means that right here you're getting weak. You're exactly right, Tom. Whenever this part of your arm doesn't catch up and get going towards the plate in the right direction, the split finger starts to get up in the strike zone, which is exactly what Tom was talking about. You take a great hitter at home plate. Most hitters may pop that pitch up to left field or right field because they're trying to pull it. Not that guy. He drilled it out of the park the other way.
Of course, Gonzalez plays in the toughest place in all of Major League Baseball to homer in. I mean, that ball right there is caught 20 feet in front of the wall at Petco Park.
Yeah.
Josh Roenicke, the right-hander, Daniel Ray Herrera, the left-hander, a pair of rookies, begin to loosen in the Reds bullpen. 2-2 pitch. Foul out of play again.
When Gonzalez takes his swing, it is nice and flat. And you can see that body and his eyes going right over. When he extends with the bat in one hand. I think that's what really allows him to get his hips through and really extend that right hand through the ball.
Good pitch right there by Bailey, in on the hands at 96 miles per hour, but Kuzminoff able to foul it away. Next pitch, number 97 of the game for Bailey. He has a 2-run lead here in the top of the 6th inning.
And I think realistically, Tom, that both Dusty Baker and Dick Pole would like to see Homer get through this inning and fight through the fatigue that is now jumped on his back, whether it's in his arm or wherever it may be, and make some pitches.
High pop up Tavares coming in, Phillips going out. Brandon will make the catch for the second out of the inning. So Bailey needs one more out to get through this sixth. I'd like to remind you about the all-new Fox Fantasy Football. There's so many wonderful features, new ways to play. Everything you know about fantasy football is about to change. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football.
Do you do that?
No, I don't.
I used to. Well, not me, but I did it for my son.
But people that play it love it. I mean love it. And the thing it is just mind-boggling to me, the technology, and having done football for Fox for whatever it is, 15 years now, and knowing all the technology that they have at Fox along with their partnership with DirecTV, I can promise you, and I have no idea what this new Fox Fantasy Football thing is, but I've seen the work they do on fantasy football at Fox. I can promise you, if you're a fantasy league player, it will be unbelievable.
And having a team in fantasy football really makes you a fan of the whole league. It's not just one team anymore. It's not just the Green Bay Packers or the Minnesota Vikings or the Washington Redskins, Cowboys, whatever. You're a fan of everybody because you may have one guy that's on each of those teams.
All right, before we go any further with football in mind, because you and a guy named Favre reside in the same state, you have some common friends.
We do.
You know Brett. I mean, I know you haven't talked to him lately, but do you think he's playing this year?
No doubt about it.
Really?
Yeah. No doubt
For the
about
Minnesota Vikings.
For the Minnesota Vikings.
All right.
So strap him on.
Well, he'll be ready. I pop up, and Bailey will find a way to get through the sixth inning. He'll out back-to-back home runs. The first one coming to Everth Cabrera, the first of his major league career. Then to Adrian Gonzalez. Reds still lead it 5-3.
Never win.
No.
You're not going to win the ball strike argument, and you're not going to win the check swing argument. You can show your displeasure. There's a few words that you can't say while you're showing your displeasure, but you can still show it and then going back to dugout.
Two-hopper down to Gonzalez. He is one slick defender down there at first, and he throws out Lance Nix to begin the Reds' sixth inning. I mean, there are many that'll tell you they believe Gonzalez is the best defensive first baseman in the league by a lot. Albert Pujols won the Gold Glove last year, but of course so much of the Gold Glove voting is just so flawed. Not to say that the writers or the sportscasters or anybody else could do it any better, but in this day and age of an unbalanced schedule, to have coaches and managers vote on the Gold Glove is really laughable. I mean, you know, the Reds play the San Diego Padres 6-7 times a year. You play them in 2 series. So let's say a guy like Gonzalez maybe misses 3 games because he's out hurt, and you see him play in 3 games and maybe don't even have to make a tough play over the 3 you did see him. Right. You're not even going to think about him when the time comes to vote. Of course, the situation was really magnified a number of years ago when Rafael Palmeiro won the Gold Glove at first base, and he played in less than 10 games at first all year long. He was a DH.
I remember that. That was in 2001 because I was on the Rangers.
Gomes hits it hard the other way. Is this his second home run tonight? You betcha.
That is the Jonny Gomes that I like to see. When he goes up there with his mindset to drive the ball the other way, he lays off for the bad breaking balls. He gets good fastballs to hit, and when he connects, fireworks.
4 home runs in the game tonight for the Reds. 4 of them. This one drilled straight away center field off the bat of Tatum. Thought maybe he had his first big league hit there for a moment.
Me too.
We'd love to see the young man get it here soon.
Watch the swing from Jonny Gomes. Stays right on that. Look at the head. Watch the head here, right over the ball. That's what I'm talking about. When you drive a ball the other way, it's about the head being right on the baseball. When you do that, that swing comes right on through there. It stays flat, and the ball just hops off the baseball bat.
So Homer Bailey going to bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning with a 6-3 lead. Jonny Gomes, his 6th career multi-homer game. His first since July the 28th of 2007. How about that? Almost 2 years to the day. 2 years and 1 day since the last time he did it.
Tom, we talk so much about momentum, about chemistry. We talk about going in the right direction, trying to put things back together, the swagger, the confidence, all of those things that a team must have to get going in the right direction. And sometimes it can only take one game to get it back right.
Homer Bailey gone on strikes, but Jonny Gomes has given him a little bit more breathing room. His 2nd home run of the game to put the Reds back in front by 3. Homer Bailey, right from the get-go, looking strong tonight. And his team helped him in the very first inning with 2 on and nobody out. Joey Votto thrown out of the game. And the very next batter, Brandon Phillips, picked up the club with a 3-run home run, 3-0 lead. Jonny Gomes made it 4-0 with a home run in the 2nd inning. Encarnacion made it 5-0 with a homer to left field in the 4th. And Jonny Gomes with another home run to right center field in the 6th inning. San Diego got back-to-back home runs. You saw the first swing there by Cabrera. There's a ground ball and a nice play by Rosales and Bailey to retire Venable starting the 7th inning. But the Padres got the back-to-back home runs by Cabrera and Gonzalez in the 6th inning to make it a 2-run game before Gomes hit his 2nd home run of the night and a lead back to 3, and Homer Bailey right back out there on the mound. So the Reds want him to break through any sort of barrier that may be out there. Oftentimes that's a 100 pitch barrier, it seems, without fail in this day and age.
I think they want him to finish on a positive note and finish feeling good about what he's done on the day. He's thrown the ball really, really good today, or tonight, I should say. He did give up the back-to-back home runs in the 6th. But from the beginning of this ball game all the way up until right now, I would say he has thrown the ball as good as I've seen him throw.
Fly ball to center field, and there are 2 away in the inning. Well, you know, Bailey had those back-to-back starts where you thought, well, hold on a minute now, you know, maybe some of those poor outings are a thing of the past. After he made his 2nd start of this year against Cleveland, you know, when he walked the 7 guys, but he only allowed the 3 runs, and you're thinking, you know, showed a lot of toughness in that game.
Right.
Came back against St. Louis, pitched a great game here, should have gotten a win.
Right.
But tonight, Pujols hit the grand slam. He gave up the charge with 2 runs in 7 1/3 innings, only 3 hits he allowed. The very next time out against a very good Philadelphia team, arguably the best lineup in the league.
Pitched good against them.
He allowed 2 runs in 6 innings. But his last 2 starts lit up. 7 runs in 5 1/3 against Milwaukee. 9 runs, 6 earned in 2 2/3 against the Dodgers. But now back at it tonight, throwing 96 miles per hour in the 7th inning.
And what has always happened with him, Tom, is he's had a bad game and he was never able to recover. He was never able to make the adjustment to get back in line. And I think that's what they want him to do And that's what he is doing tonight. He got off the track a little bit. They want him back on the express.
In the air, right center field. Gomes is there, and Bailey with a 1-2-3 seventh. Well done, Homer Bailey. Time now for the seventh inning stretch, presented by Cincinnati Bell. Your reservation today for the Front Gate Outdoor Luxury Suite, the most luxurious seating section at Great American Ballpark, directly above the owner's suite, behind home plate. This covered outdoor area can host your group of 30 to 48 for one all-inclusive price. Reserve your game date today, calling the Reds Group Sales Department 765-7600. High fives abound for Homer Bailey, and why not? 7 outstanding innings tonight. He's allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, has a 3-run lead. He only walked 1 batter all night and fanned 4. Mujica still on the mound for the Padres. Top of the order for the Reds, Taveras, Gonzalez, and Rosales.
And for me, Tom, the home runs don't mean a whole lot that Bailey gave up. What I judge him on is how many times he was able to come back and throw strikes being down 2-0. Not many times was he there. And how many times did you see him throw a breaking ball for a strike at 1-0, or maybe a split finger that he struck a guy out when he had 2 strikes? I mean, just the way he went about his business was big league at that.
But Taveras grounds out to begin the inning. Find out what sports moments made the best top 50 countdown this week. Chris Rose, Carissa Thompson tell you what they are. Weeknights only on Fox Sports Ohio, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Bailey in line to get his second win in 4 decisions of this season.
It's just fun to watch a pitcher make adjustments, compete, and do what he needs to do to win the ball game. And for a guy like Homer Bailey, we said it at the beginning of the game, you and I were talking about it, if he throws strikes with his fastball, he'll be successful, and that's exactly what he did. Heck, he had a couple of times he just flat blew him away with a heater.
Well, you may remember, I mean, at times we've seen Bailey, you know, be brought up for a start here, brought up for a start there, and you'd hear about, as he was making his rise through the organization, about throwing 97, 98, even 100 miles an hour, and he'd get to the big leagues and be throwing at 90, 91, and everybody be saying, well, where's the 98, 99, 100? Well, this year, we are seeing that guy that, I mean, can hit 97, 98. I mean, oftentimes tonight he was pitching 94, 95.
Right. And a lot of that goes back to being comfortable within yourself and getting that weight on that back leg, and then just let everything charge. And if you're jumpy, or if you're nervous, anxious, scared, whatever that may be, if you go forward with the front half of your body before it's time to have that leg drive, you're going to have nothing on the ball. You're throwing all arm, and your pitches are going to be down in the low 90s or the high 80s. And for a guy that doesn't throw that hard, it's going to be worse than that.
Ran 2 on Gonzalez, and he draws the 1-out walk.
All right, Reds fans, for great tasting food and family fun, pick up JTM Philly Kids Burgers or delicious barbecue from your favorite grocer. JTM, food, family, and fun.
Now, when you were knocking down that skyline tonight, that big old plate you had delivered here in the booth.
I had delivered.
With that shirt you're wearing tonight, now did you put like a couple of napkins down to serve as a bib?
I did not.
Because I would imagine when you put that shirt on, I mean, when you take that baby out of the closet, I mean, you want to make sure nothing's getting on that shirt, right?
That's correct. You're right with that. But I ate it right over here on my table. I didn't have a cloth on or any kind of bib. I just clicked that vacuum.
Straight away center field, and a nice play out there by Tony Gwynn to run it down.
And he went and got that ball.
Yes,
That ball was
did.
hammered. Fastball, short, quick swing to the ball by Rosales. Junior all the way back after it, and he kept the ball in front of him. He didn't let the ball get back over his head. Kept the ball in between he and the bullpen.
Two away in the inning, and out of batter Brandon Phillips. A 3-run home run for Brandon in the first inning. Fly to center in the third. Struck out swinging, but reached on a wild pitch in the fifth. We're in the bottom of the seventh, and the Reds have a 6-3 lead. Reds trying to forget all about the last 6 games. 0-6 through LA and Chicago. Boy, those are lonely towns to go 0-6.
They are. You just come back and you play ball. And the thing about it, Tom, is if you worry so much about what happened in Los Angeles and you worry about what happened in Chicago, then you ruin the last 2 months of the season. You make 1 week turn into 2.5 months of misery. You can't do that. You just get back on the horse and do what you got to do. Get that swagger back, get that confidence back, and go to town.
Brandon out of there swinging to retire the side. A man left. We move to the 8th. Reds 6, San Diego 3. Bailey is still in the game. We thought perhaps the way he was sitting in the dugout and got all those high fives after coming back in at the end of 7, that his night might be over. But he's out there on the hill, takes the ball to start the 8th inning, and he'll face pinch hitter Oscar Salazar for San Diego. Then Tony Gwynn and Edwin Cabrera. Strike 1.
Well, that's what I thought too. But evidently, Homer must have gone to the man who makes the decision, and that's Dusty Baker. And in some way, fashion, or form convinced him to stay in the game.
Straight away center field. Lazy fly ball. Easy for Taveras. 1 away. Tell you what, since allowing the back-to-back home runs to Cabrera and Gonzalez, Bailey's retired 6 in a row.
But the thing about it, Tom, is he's throwing the ball fine. The two balls that were hit out of the ballpark were just fastball, were not fastball, but they were just pitches that got over the plate and they were elevated a little bit. Who hits from the left side. I think now we'll see Arthur Rhodes, and I believe that's who's heading in.
And listening to this ovation for this young right-hander. He pitched an outstanding ball game.
And I think part of this too, Tom, is that Dusty let him go out and face that guy.
Nobody on, 1 out. Those are the final numbers for Mr. Bailey. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 7 1/3 innings. And now he'll turn it over to what has been a sensational back end of the bullpen for this Reds team all year long. Clearly, it has been their greatest strength. The trio of Rhodes, Weathers, and Cordero. Doesn't mean every night they're going to be great. I mean, heck, yesterday we saw Rhodes give up 2 runs in a game. I can't remember when that happened last.
But for the most part, when the Reds have had the lead or the game has been tied between Rhodes, Weathers, and Cordero, man, you pretty much book it.
It's the 3rd day in a row that Rhodes has pitched. David Weathers is getting ready out beyond the empowered charter jet sign in left center field. Oh, and 2 to Tony Gwynn, and it's fouled off out of play. Of course, I got to believe, I mean, Arthur Rhodes hasn't spent much time in the National League in his career, but I got to believe that this would probably be a first for Arthur Rhodes, pitching against a father and his son, if indeed he faced Tony Gwynn Sr.
I don't think he did.
That is a fair ball, and that's an out.
That is great hustle right there by Craig Tatum, getting out there before the ball had a chance to spin back behind the plate. If it comes back to the edge of the plate that is on the foul side, he can't tag him. But because the ball was laying right on top of the plate, Tatum picks up the ball and he tags Tony Gwynn. Look where the ball ended up, right there, almost rolling back of the plate, but he got it with his bare hand before it was too late. An alert catcher picks up the ball, makes the tag immediately. That's a great job.
Pitch down and in to Cabrera. 1 of 3 at his first major league home run his last time up.
You can almost see it from the center field camera, Tom. Watch where the ball almost looks like it comes out of the back of Rhodes' head. And how do you pick that up as the ball comes homeward? You've got a guy throwing the baseball in the mid-90s, and he steps across his body. This is where the ball's coming out of as it comes plateward. And you can see where he steps across his body, and then boom, here it comes.
Hey, by the way, he did face his old man.
Did he?
1 for 2. Tony Gwynn was against Arthur Rhodes.
Where was Arthur? I didn't know that Arthur ever played it.
Got to believe it was interleague play.
That's right. I forgot.
Of course, Arthur was
Seattle versus San Diego.
But he had a couple of go-rounds with Philadelphia, right? I would bet it's during interleague play.
Yeah,
I bet a lot of money on it.
Seattle and San Diego. I forgot about that.
Did you ever face a father and then his son? You never pitched against Ken Griffey Sr., did you?
I don't think so. If I did, I don't think I faced Junior.
That one hit up the left field line by the switch hitting Cabrera, and he'll motor into second base with a double. Well, he's coming to third, and he is going to get in there head first slide. I don't know what happened to Lance Nix down there, whether the ball got stuck or it stopped or not sure what, but all of a sudden Cabrera, as he's on his way to second, he never even debated taking off for third.
Well, this is what really brings life to a ball club as a kid like Edwin Cabrera. When he hits this ball down the line, he never stops running. As he comes towards second base, he's watching what Lance Nix is doing, and as the ball bobbles away from Nix, he keeps coming right on to third base, and Nix just lollygagged it. That's all there is to it. Nix just assumed he was going to take a double. Instead, he takes a triple.
Well, that's the stuff that's just got to be getting deeper and deeper under Dusty Baker's skin by the day. I mean,
especially on a day like today.
He is not alone, Lance Nix, in that category, but he has certainly just joined the party.
On a day like today where everything is going well, you got to be at the top of your game. There should be no reason for you not to be diving, sprinting, hustling, getting after it in every way, fashion, or form. and nobody should get a triple on a ball hit to left field.
Off the end of the bat by Gonzalez into right. Gomes is there, inning over. So Rhodes takes care of business in relief of Bailey. Reds back for what they hope will be the last time tonight, leading by 3. It's 6 o'clock. First Friday, a big great night. Colorado coming to town. A young man who grew up in the Cincinnati area, still makes his home in the area. Aaron Cook will be on the mound that night for the Rockies. And he'll be locked up with whom we do not know. Reds are going to have to bring up a starter. Or somebody's got to start at Micah Owings' place here on Friday night. And then, of course, you have the fireworks after the ball game. And they are great fireworks indeed. We've talked about it all summer long. We look forward to every Friday night. Joe Thatcher now on the mound for San Diego.
Well, he has got some definitely different kinds of mechanics. 20th ball game that he's been in. This will be his 22nd inning. Doesn't walk a whole lot of guys, but he comes almost sidearm, throws across his body from the left side. And even if you're right-handed, the ball seems to be coming into your hands. And if you're left-handed, well, it's probably coming behind you. And that ball was definitely on the hands of Encarnacion. It didn't even get up high enough for Adrian Gonzalez to even give chase. He hit it so soft off of his hands it didn't even break his bat. That ball cut all the way in on Edwin, and boy, that's a tough angle to hit from right there. Good night, Irene.
Tonight's Mega $1 Million jackpot up to $60 million. It's a lot of cake.
It's a tough angle to hit from right there. Good. Encarnacion didn't even see where that ball was coming from. It broke right in there.
You know, I was asking you about Louisiana, why everything is in Louisiana.
Right.
Where do you suppose the name, and I just think of this stuff randomly from time to time, but you're one of the guys that generally has an answer for this kind of a question. Why do you think the term Goodnight Irene? Why Irene? Why not Debbie, Linda, any number of names?
I think it came from a book, a story. You know, like the Waltons, remember how they used to say, night John Boy, night
yeah.
Mary Ellen, night Mom, night Dad, night Grandpa, night John Boy. You know how they did all that? Good night, Irene. It's like in a story. Maybe they were saying good night to a bunch of people as Nick strikes out.
Good night, Irene.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of.
I just thought you might have an answer for that.
Well, that's the only answer I got. Maybe it was a story. Might have been a bedtime story somebody used to tell me.
Jonny Gomes.
Can he hit a third one?
Oh, he's more than capable.
But I mean, against this side slinger.
Yes, he can. Don't you think?
Sure. This cat looks like he's throwing the ball from Adrian Gonzalez's position over there at first base. Throwing it right at your belly button.
You're wondering, Jonny Gomes once in his career has hit 3 home runs in a game. He had to go all the way back to 2005 when he did it for Tampa Bay against Kansas City. Boy, how interesting it is. That's 2 years and 3 days from today. Told you the last time he hit 2 home runs in a game was 2 years ago tomorrow. The last time he hit 3 home runs in a game, July the 30th of 05. Well, maybe he likes this last week of July. Took a 3-0 fastball in the inside corner. Well, if this is a pitch that he's going to get number 3, you can rest assured if it's anywhere close, he will screw himself in the ground swinging so hard. He's adjusting that helmet, gripping that bat, and here we go. Wow. Threw him a pitch right there.
It's right down Broadway.
Couldn't believe he took that pitch. You?
I'd have swung at it. Watch where the mid is. He didn't even have to like exert any effort. Maybe he's trying to trick him. Make him throw it there again.
Johnny hadn't been here very long. I don't think yet. It's the first 3-1 pitch he's taken all year. And then it's ball 4 outside.
He's working a wall.
You're right. He's good at bat. So now it'll be Mr. Tatum, and again one more time for Craig to try and get his first big league hit.
Everybody pull for Craig to get a hit here. Boy needs to get his first major league hit, get it on out of the way. You don't want that to carry on too far, because then it becomes pressure. It comes in the piano sitting on your back. Oh Lord, that ain't it.
Getting over. So Francisco Cordero will come in from the bullpen, try to nail it down. Reds lead 6-3. On a fly ball to the warning track in left center field in the fourth, Adrian Gonzalez trying to tag, and he throws him out at third. For John Morel Hot Dog plays of the game. Jerry Hairston Jr. will take over in right field, replacing Jonny Gomes. Francisco Cordero will take over on the mound. Only one blown save all year long. Of course, a National League All-Star for the Reds this season. Has had a spectacular year, and he will try and nail it down here in the ninth. Look at that ERA, 1.6. That's getting it done.
And falling.
High fly ball, left center field, pretty well hit. Back to the warning track, Taveras. See you later. Home run, Kevin Kuzminoff. And now it is a 6-4 game.
Been a lot of balls that have left the building.
Boy, you're not lying. You know, this ballpark does not seem as though it is played small this year like it has in the past 7 years. But tonight it is playing small. Although that ball was kissed.
Yeah, that ball was right down the heart of the plate. And Kuzminoff's not batting fourth just because he's going to bunt. But when you have a 3-run lead, you don't go out there to fool around and just try to nibble. You go out there to make them swing the bat, just like Homer Bailey did in the 6th. Yeah, they got a couple of home runs, but you know what? After that, he buckled down, got the rest of them out. I'm sure that's what Cordero will do here.
Tomahawked into left field, a foul ball.
I don't know that I've seen a guy the size of Kyle Blanks with that kind of big upper body and massive legs since Glenn Braggs. You remember Glenn Braggs, Tom?
Oh, of course.
But Glenn wore that big tight uniform where you could see every muscle bulging.
Well, you're not kidding. I mean, that guy would move his fingers and you just see muscles in the forearm.
I know, he was big. And this guy looks like he's that big.
Fly ball, right field. Room for Hairston. And that's out number 1 of the San Diego 9th inning. St. Louis breaking it wide open, by the way, against the Dodgers tonight. It is a 6-1 game. And the Cardinals with that revamped lineup with now Julio Lugo, Mark DeRosa, Matt Holliday, Albert Pujols. They're getting it rolling tonight. Cubs and the Astros tied at 1. That game in the bottom of the 7th inning. Wandy Rodriguez against Carlos Zambrano. One and one the count on Will Venable. Seven home runs have been hit at Great American Ballpark tonight. The ballpark record is 8 in a game. Most recently done against the Phillies on September the 23rd, 2005. Two and two now to Venable.
Cal Blanks, a 42nd round pick, 2004.
Popped up and playable for the shortstop Gonzalez. And the Padres down to their final out of the ninth. Well, when you can't be at home to watch your Reds on Fox Sports Ohio, we invite you to check out MLB.tv. You can log on to the internet and watch every out-of-market Reds game live on your computer. For more details, visit Reds.com, where baseball is always on. The Reds are an out away from ending this 6-game losing streak. Their last victory was a week ago yesterday, right here in this ballpark over the Milwaukee Brewers. And this is going to do it. Fly ball by Rodriguez to Lance Nix, and the Reds are winners by a final count of 6-4. And it feels a little bit better than it has the last 6 days.
Boy, you got that right. Anytime you get a W, I don't care how you get it. It's better than losing. Now the